We are live. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Corner of Queens.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome. I am Nubian Scripts, and I'm with my fabulous co-host, Miss Tina Marie, with the T, of course.
Right.
And this is episode number 10.
Yes. So
Title.
let's, huh?
What is the title of today's episode? Bam.
Yeah. So I'm excited for this topic. Um, so I'll probably say let's start off with. So when you hear people say they want to go to Hollywood to be, to be famous or whatever, I wonder what people usually thinking when they decide they want to go do that.
Well, I know that a lot of us have gifts, and you want the world to hear sometimes. And so it's just the determination to like, I gotta get my music heard. I
Hmm.
want to meet these celebrities.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking.
I can honestly say the same thing. I don't think that, especially if they're still young, I don't even think they really assume that, the possibilities. They just know they want to be heard. They want to be rich. They
Hmm.
want to be like you said, want to be seen. Um, so yeah, that's kind of my perspective.
Yeah.
So I kind of want to touch on a few things today. Um, and it's all the conspiracy. People call them conspiracy theories. I don't think they're theories if there's more than one or more than 20 different stories and are all saying the same thing. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
I don't think they're conspiracy theories. I think it is what it is. And people don't,
After you hear the same thing a certain amount of times.
let's call a spade a spade. It is what it is. And it's something you should be cautious of.
Hmm.
So,
Or you remember, like back in the day when we stood in the classroom and we stood in line and we had to whisper something in the person's ear,
mhm,
but when it got back to the person in the front, it was a completely different story. So,
completely different story. Yeah, that definitely could be a possibility.
could you quit? No, I'm kidding.
Okay, so I want to touch on something. Um,
What they do with the artists is easy. They send a stylist at them first.
Yeah, yep.
And if the stylist report back and be like, oh, he ready, then they invite you to the party. And that's when they be like, yo, look, you go in here, it's gonna be some, you know what I mean? It's a at the door.
Okay, now
yeah.
look, what Ali
It's
Vegas
real.
is doing to you right now, he's giving you the game of how these be getting turned out in this
Yeah,
shit.
like,
They've tried to put this tight ass shirt on you,
that's what they do.
and if you wear the shirt,
They like, oh, he ready.
he with it.
That's you telling them like, yeah, I'm ready. And then next thing you know, you get invited to the party where the greeting is the man squeezing your.
Whoa.
wow. Um, I don't think people usually think about when you hear stuff like that. It does kind of make you scratch your head, and be like, "For real? Is that what they really into?"
I don't want it that bad. That brings me to the gentleman that is co-starring in that Creed 3 movie with Michael Jordan.
Uh huh.
He
Michael B.
did the
Jordan.
cover of was that Ebony or Vogue, or he did a spread. You know,
I
in
don't.
one
I'm
of
not.
the magazines, he probably did either spread because it was several different pictures of him, and he's a very buff guy.
Mhm.
his African features are very strong. His lips are full. You know, his nose is wide. He's a very beautiful creature. He has, and maybe this was the February edition, you know, because he have on like red and he got his shirt off, and you know, some of the pieces look a little soft for his aura. But how do you feel about that? And how do you feel about Michael Jordan? Because you know they have all these pictures with them, you know, these memes with them, like Michael Jordan is dressed in a dress, and how do you feel about that?
When I see stuff like that, I just really find it a little questionable because from what I'm seeing, it's like a process. And when I say a process, I literally mean they're saying it's a process of the levels of going up, like really getting up there, like where the elites and what they feel like the elites are. It's they said it's a process. It's not, okay, I got this famous. I think that's like part of the hazing, what they call the hazing process. I think that's what it literally is. I think it's just literally a process, and everybody that want to make it big, they gotta be willing to like go through that process. It's
be transparent.
Yeah, like most men would feel it's a little humiliating to walk around in a dress and all that, but if you want it that bad, they want to see how far you're willing to go.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of part of what they call the hazing process when it comes to Hollywood. I'll just say some of this stuff that you hear constantly kind of makes me look at the male celebrities I thought was fine. Kind of makes me look at them like, oh. And there was also like speculation about LL Cool J, and kind of falls in line with the accusations that are being made. And I'm just like, he was like every woman's fantasy at one point. Like to hear
I haven't heard anything bad about LL.
It's just wouldn't be what you expected. It's just the line of homosexuality and being into that kind of thing. Yes, I was very shocked to hear it. But we are going to try another clip.
So tell me something. And this ain't me being an asshole. I think everybody that knows Sean Carter knows that he will slump anyone in any relationship for $1. Look at how he did Dane. Like, I don't give a fuck if you wanted to get away from your homie, if you wanted to get away from your partner. But to do it the way he did it, it's malicious. But maybe that was because he was fucking the girl that didn't want you.
Oh. Let the church say amen?
I don't know. Maybe that's why. Maybe that's why you moved his ass around and out of Rockefeller so tough and then just moved right over to Def Jam. By the way, wasn't this all around the time when Aaliyah died?
Yeah.
And Beyonce's solo career was struggling? Jam on your horn now, that fucking bullshit ass record. From the Austin Powers shit, it was some of the worst shit ever. They were having a hard time taking her solo. And then Aaliyah died. And then they brought Rich Harrison in, and you love got me thinking so crazy right now. She liked posing with him in pictures for Page 6. Aaliyah didn't. She fell in love with Dane. And Aaliyah's gone, and, you know. You have to start asking yourself questions after being in this business for this long. If you're a halfway intelligent person, when do you start questioning how lucky some motherfuckers keep getting?
Right.
Now, I want to say a lot of people do feel like maybe she's just being too dramatic. But if people really don't pay attention and don't know, Jaguar Wright has actually been a part of the industry since 1995. So she has been there, like the production part. So a lot of people just think, oh, she's just making things up. When you've been a part of the business, you see
And
what everybody,
blacklisted.
huh?
She's blacklisted.
Yeah, like you know everything that's going on. Um, but I kind of remember what she's talking about. It's just, how is that possible? You know what I'm saying? Like, how is it that all these accusations are being made and just everybody just literally is so scared and stay quiet? Um,
See what happens if you talk.
hmm,
You see what happens when they talk.
true. Yeah, that's very unfortunate. But yeah, what do you think about what she was saying?
Well, it looks like it makes a lot of sense. You know, do you remember seeing Jay-Z and Aaliyah in the video together?
Not that I can remember.
Me either. But Dame Dash claims he was, Aaliyah was his piece,
Mm-hmm.
you know. Um, it's just like it's so many different conspiracies because this isn't my only video that I've seen, so I've heard other things about it. So to me, it just
Mm-hmm.
makes sense,
Right.
especially due to the fact that Jaguar, she was in the '90s. In the '90s, you could sing, Black Power music. You can sing. There was different artists, Common. You know,
Mm-hmm.
Erica Badu was on a wave of spirituality in
Mm-hmm.
her own way. Who else? The Roots. They was on a wave of the culture.
Mm-hmm.
Um, who else? Mob Deep. We know
Yeah,
they
they
lost
were
a
new.
member because he was
Mm-hmm.
speaking. He spoke on certain things. Goody Mob. If you hear their music, you better get up, get out, and get something.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
like,
I
oh,
remember
your
that.
ass trying to pack. You remember that? Like,
Mm-hmm.
they are telling, it's a message in that '90s music. I remember
Mm-hmm.
seeing Bone, one of the members of Bone Thugs and Harmony. He was reading one of the contracts that was letting them know that you have to sign this contract because you can't sing that type of music in the industry no more. If you want to be a part, you can't do that music. You're not gonna make it to mainstream doing this
Mm-hmm.
type of Black Power music. So
You got to play the role.
you got to play a role, and if you're not going to that role, or if you're not falling back, I don't know. Maybe Aaliyah didn't want to. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
Because Tupac clearly didn't want to, and Biggie was
Yeah.
trying to get out. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so it makes sense. Beyonce, she is on top, but Aaliyah, she was that girl. Like, we genuinely loved her. It wasn't forced.
Right. And it's
We genuinely loved Destiny's Child.
yeah,
We liked all of them. It
for
wasn't
sure.
just we just didn't like just Beyonce. We like, well, I'm her. Well, I'm gonna be her. We like
Mm-hmm.
Kelly. We like Tanya. We was upset that they broke up. We was upset when Michelle
Mm-hmm.
came. We grew to love her, but we fell in
Mm-hmm.
love with the original Destiny's Child. So I love Beyonce. Don't get me wrong. I love all Black women.
Mm-hmm.
However, you call a spade if you see it.
Right. But yeah, it's just really weird when you hear stuff like that, because once again, to know that they can instill that kind of fear in people, it makes you wonder, like, what's really going on in the industry that people are not fully aware of. Like, those are some strong accusations. And remember, we kind of touched on the Trey Songz uh situation where there were accusations being made about him, like, I guess you could say being a savage type of person, or abusive, or you know
Or
that
he's abused.
Yeah,
So the
that part too.
the hurt people.
True. They do. I ain't gonna even, we
We
can't even
haven't
deny
heard
that
anything
part.
from Trey Songz. What's really going on? What he doing? How come he can't make music? Ain't that why
Well,
he came out so he can sing?
well, R. Kelly took over for him after, his career like really took off. R. Kelly was his what do you call it? His manager. And then haven't you noticed you haven't really heard from Trey Songz ever since he was arrested? We haven't really heard nothing from him.
Okay,
And
I didn't know that R. Kelly was managing Trey Songz. Okay.
that's why all his music became super sexual, love faces and all that. It was just one sexual song after the next. And I was like, well, what?
That's what sells. That's what they want to sell.
Like, what's really going on? I'm like,
He
everything
can't
is
sing.
just.
He can't sing nothing he want to sing. And so, like we would, referring back to your question, because I have a gift of music writing, and
Mm-hmm.
I used to could sing really, really well. But we grew up, out of high school. It was 2004. It was the early 2000s, so that's when we started noticing, a lot of degrading music. From the Hot Boys album. It was cute to a kid looking at some ghetto stuff, but when you listen to the music as an adult, it's
Mm-hmm.
degrading.
Yeah, we definitely start seeing things a lot different than we did when we were much younger. We just literally saw where this the beat, and it's just really weird how much as you get older your eyes get more open.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just kind of like what's really going on, but
Well, as a child, I thought as a child. Now that I'm an adult,
hmm
I'm a little wiser.
yeah, that's what's true, and we all have some sort of. We all gonna keep growing. We all have to. We just very shocked to hear that these allegations are really true, and it's not by
And
one or
they're
two or three
constant.
people.
They're constant.
Constant, not just two or three people. Like, what's really going on? And I think it really started in the 90s. And we are going to touch on a clip as we speak.
Uptown Records started with 5 people: Andre Harrell, I'll Be Sure, Heavy D, and Puffy. And Kim, she was Andre's personal assistant. Kim is dead. Heavy D is dead. Andre Harrell is dead. The only 2 left are Puffy and Al almost died. Isn't that interesting? You want to know what they all had in common, though? They were all writing tell-all books. And Al B. Sure was working on the documentary of his life. And then he goes into a coma. Has Puffy ever been in a coma? Has anything happened to him? There's too many coincidences. Fuck you, Honeycomb. We gonna get you and your little dog, too. Run as fast as Cassie did.
I hate
Okay.
that picture of him. When I see how he looking
He
at the
look weird.
podcast,
Mm-hmm.
he looked like a liar.
He definitely, the way that man looked, he always breathed like a snake to me. And I just was wondering, how did he get all this fame when once again, like, you just rode Biggie's coattail? Like, I've never been able to see the
And Mace.
talent.
And Mace.
Where, yeah, like you rode people coattail. Where's the talent?
And Shine. And all of them. Whoever ain't got a job no more that he started with.
Mm-hmm. They're gone.
Just like they did TLC. Use them.
Mm-hmm.
You the artist, you the slave.
It's scary to see stuff like that can like literally happen. You remember the song "I'll Be Missing You" that they did for the song "Notorious." That song that it was still done in as a memoir to Biggie, huh?
Notorious. That was
Even though it was a tribute to him, every time they mention Bad Boy, They're not. They were. They never showed a clip of Biggie. Nothing. They just kept putting the camera on Diddy, and it was like all the proceeds literally was supposed to go to Biggie's mom, but come to find out, all the proceeds went to Bad Boy, and somehow they managed to hush his mom up. But all the proceeds went to Bad Boy, and imagine how much money ever since Biggie died, how much is just literally going straight to Puffy. Like it's a lot of new artists that a lot of artists that signed with him, and all of them said they never saw the money.
They probably didn't want to go no further. Like, okay, that's enough. That's the thing. Like when you have good talent and you want to show it to the world, and you living in poverty, and you want to get out of it.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to be a slave, but you go there, and that's exactly what you become.
Mm-hmm. And you become a slave to the message that they want you to portray. They don't want you to promote anything that's positive. And to know all those people died up under Diddy and everything was tell all. You know, why are you killing people or knocking people off because they want to tell their life story? Because in some way or another, it's linked to you and whoever you working with.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just crazy. All those people magically died or
No longer.
wound up in the hospital because they were trying to tell their life story and say tell all. What you got to hide if you're not the villain in all these stories?
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
I don't remember what the name of this show is with um what's her name? The girl from Total, Pam. Pam from Total is on there.
Okay.
Two of 702 members are on there. Not the main singer, but the light one and the brown one.
Oh, okay.
Have you seen that show?
Mm-mm.
And then one of the girls from 3LW, the light skinned one.
Okay.
Nivea is on there.
I almost forgot about her.
Who else did they have? They had a couple of other people, but Pam, she's the one to me who stuck out the most because she's the one who was very, very spiritual.
Okay.
She, I think somebody had her on, they arm on her leg, and she was like, "Nah, I used to do certain things, and I don't want nobody to think that that's what I'm doing, and nothing like that."
Mm-hmm.
So, for her, and then she was like so gospel. She was pro gospel. She didn't want to sing any type of consecutive sexual nothing. She the one who stood out. I think she's the one who was the most traumatized out the group.
Oh wow.
She come off as very traumatized.
Oh, okay, kind of broken.
It takes for you to see the show, for you to see what I'm talking about.
Okay.
But I love Total. Like, she don't even want to get back in a group. Like, she's like,
Well, I don't blame her. Like, if clearly the industry has completely changed, and once again, some people join the music to be who they want to be and do what they want to do, or sing whatever they want to sing. And some people,
for freedom. They think they can get in the industry and let the world hear their music.
Mm-hmm. And they can't do that. They realize they can't.
They want to be creative, and if you're not, you can't talk about bringing your people together.
Right.
No revolutionary, nothing that's gonna stir up the Black community to cause any.
Mm-hmm. Nothing, none whatsoever. But haven't you noticed a lot of gospel singers aren't even doing music no more? What is it? I think it's CC said she stopped doing music.
Did she?
And she said because they wanted me to sing something other than gospel.
They wanted her to what they call it, crossover.
Mm-hmm. And she was like, her and her brother said no. That's not what they got into doing. And she said they waived a nice little contract in their face. And she said they both said they'll pass. I don't recall hearing very much gospel music nowadays.
You know what? I love gospel, and it's a couple of dope artists that's out. I like KD or KB.
Mm-hmm.
He's a real dope artist. He's standing out to me. But if you know from here, St. Louis, if you tune into the Boost channel, they give you a variety of a lot of different artists. They got like dope rhymes and everything. So yeah, it's a lot of gospel music. It might not be like our old spiritual music. And when you
Mm-hmm.
put on Gospel 1600, girl, you can't go all over St. Louis because it's bad signal. They've been on for forever. How come that
Mm-hmm.
station is so cloudy and horrible? What the hell? What's up with that? You can't even listen to gospel driving down the street. You got a playlist, and everybody don't have a playlist.
Okay, so I guess what I'm mentioning is like recent stuff. Like when you hear grant awards, ceremonies, and it's not for the people that sing spiritual music. It's always for either some rap or some rock or some pop music. I don't recall, especially in these most recent years. I don't ever hear anybody win nothing because of gospel music.
You remember what?
I don't recall anybody winning anything if they sing gospel music.
I believe Yolanda Adams. I know CeCe Winans did. John P. Key. I think a lot of people have.
Right, I'm talking about recently, like these recent times.
Yeah.
Like those were a while. I think those are a while back because, like I said, the Winans. That's what I'm talking about. BB and CeCe Winans are the ones that said that they didn't want to do music anymore because they wanted them to sing what they wanted them to sing. And it's like it must be something in their contracts. Even Prince was actually exposing the industry. And to know you doing your own music, but y'all saying what he signed in the very beginning of his career, and y'all saying he can't own the royalties to it if he's doing the music and not having y'all help. That's fair. It's supposed to go to him. He's not using y'all, but y'all. He said they were still waiving that little contract. He said, "I just wanted to be fair," and he said basically,
you signed your life over to the devil, baby.
yeah, he was like, they still didn't change it.
You can kiss ass all day, but you done got tricked.
Mm-hmm. He
Just
was
like
like, they didn't want to be fair. Mm-hmm. And that sucks. Because if I'm putting in the hard work, that's my money. Like, I wouldn't care what you got to say. But then again, if these people are kind of above the government, you literally are just at their beck and whim.
It reminds me of Yo Gotti because, he's self-made. He started off hustling. Yo Gotti.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So for him to be where he is, how you feel about him in the industry dating one of the main investors in hip hop's niece?
I've never been a fan. I do not know any of his songs.
I am a fan, and I like Angela.
Mm-hmm. They look cute together. I will say that, but I've never heard or paid his music much attention. A lot of these new artists, I don't. When people kept saying, "Oh, Young Dolph passed away," I don't know who these people is.
I didn't
know who a lot of them was.
We heard his song on the radio. We might not put a face to it because we don't go like how we used to do as teenagers, go find who it is. But once you hear his music, you're like, oh, okay, I heard that song before.
Yeah, like not even to a face to it. I didn't know the names of a lot of the people that were singing the songs neither. But that's why I was like, when a lot of these little kids are just magically dying, and I'm like, who's that? And some of the songs I've never heard. But Moneybags, I think somebody was telling me he passed away, and I think I've heard at least 2 or 3 of his songs. What is that man? I could have sworn somebody said he was gone.
Moneybag?
Mm-hmm. Now, unless somebody got the story wrong.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
But yeah, it was all these little young Black artists that's coming into this business and just magically being sacrificed. It makes you wonder, like, are they even reading the contracts? Are they literally just saying, hey, I want to sing, and they just say, hey, I got you, don't worry about it, and just say sign on this dotted line here?
And once you
Ain't got
don't
no legal
comply,
representation.
and
Huh?
you don't comply with the terms,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's pretty scary. So, it's another clip.
Uptown Records started with 5 people. Andre Harrell. The first time I ever saw Jay-Z or even heard him spit a rhyme was at an MC battle, street battle in New York. He showed up as the nigga that was with Big L. Yes. Big L was who put Jay-Z on. And then Big L died, and then the next thing you know, Jay-Z. Doing songs with Biggie and building a working camaraderie with Honeycombs. And then Biggie died, Tupac died. There was the fight between who was the top rapper now, Nas and Jay-Z. And then the next thing you know, Nas has a nervous breakdown and he's taken out of the game, and it's all Jay-Z. He will slump anyone in any relationship for $1. Look at how he did Dame. If you're a halfway intelligent person, when do you start questioning how lucky some motherfuckers keep getting?
Right.
Let me get my screen to come back on. Okay, so once again, I didn't think that Jay-Z was like that either. Um, I do know something about Big L though, and honestly, he can't rap anywhere close to how Big L can rap. I don't. People have said for a long time, like Jay-Z has some dope lyrics and blah blah blah. I don't know. I've never heard
he's
anything
not a
so
writer,
dope.
he's a biter. I've
Huh?
heard a lot of stuff about Jay-Z throughout the years. He's not a writer, he's a biter. He done been a whole bunch of Biggie Smalls pieces.
Mm-hmm. I can see that, but he ain't never been no greatest rapper, and I can care less who's a Jay-Z fan. I don't recall him, especially not beating Nas. That's why he had to send him into shock, because there is no comparison. You don't even come close, and you'd be surprised how many people are delusional to that fact. Like, I get it, you're a fan of his, but let's not pretend like you don't see what everybody else can see that are not fans.
Right.
Like, call it what it is. And a lot of times I don't. He's almost just as pointless as Diddy. I really don't know where the talent is. I mean, he had a bunch of dope songs, but it's so many of these newer artists that are exposing the industry saying they get the dope beat and they got lyrics. He was like, but people are so focused on the beat and the words and how dope it sounds, to the point to where people are not seeing what they're really putting out there. They're getting caught up in what they call a trance. We're not paying
But
attention to the
you
lyrics.
don't have to really have a lot of talent to be a puppet.
Right. Yeah.
You just need to do what the fuck they say do.
True. But you know what? I was reading something yesterday. I think I sent you like a clip, basically. Do you remember back in, maybe the late 90s or something? You remember hearing the report about Michael Jackson and how he was on stage, like during a Pepsi concert or something like that, or a Pepsi commercial or something. And the I guess everybody said his head got caught on fire. And nobody knew the extent of his damage. Everybody just knew the pictures that they showed the world. And if you think all the changes Michael Jackson went through, and they try to create excuses for all the changes with his face, nobody really knows what he looked like after that. Because it was like so much stuff that was being done to him as time went on. Can you imagine how traumatized he probably was? Like, if your head is literally combusted with flames and the flames are coming towards your face as well, like they said his nasal passages collapsed. So it's almost like they had to put a whole new face. Like, how do we know that the person we saw performing all these years really is that person that was hurt on stage? Like, yes, the voice is still the same, but I heard in this industry there is cloning. And Michael Jackson, you could tell he just wanted to do the music that he really liked. But everybody remember his bizarre behavior before he passed. Um, he kept saying he needed painkillers. Medicine to sleep. And it was closer to when he was doing the "This Is It," meaning he was done with the industry. And once again, his sister as well. They got a really paranoid um, behavior around that time. And Janet just kept saying, "I can't say much, but I'm worried about my brother." That's all she kept saying. But what's keeping you up? What's making it so hard for you to sleep every single day? You need to take meds to go to sleep.
Yeah.
And he said,
They had did like a comparison to him and Elvis.
yeah.
Died and how he was on pain pills and died from a doctor, and
Mm-hmm.
how he married Elvis's daughter. He wanted to be as big as Elvis.
Yeah. If you ask me, he probably was.
Yeah, his story is very, very interesting, and it can branch off into so many elements because
Mm-hmm.
as a child, the trauma he had to go through with the training to be a superstar.
Right.
Then once he got so famous and everybody loved him, now all of a sudden he messing with kids. Like he healing the world, heal the world, make it a better place. So now you telling me that this man who's bringing all these kids, feeding all these trying
Right.
everything he can to bring the world together, he's trying. Now he's messing with kids. So he's the. Is that true? Because we'll believe it as long as as long as the news is saying, you know what I mean, it's real. But people will believe it.
And I was upset, but they didn't convince enough people. That's the funny part. But that was because Michael's father was actually trying to get him away from them. And that's the story they painted out. Like, everybody knew, Neverland was mainly for kids. And it's like, it's the same thing with the R. Kelly situation. All of a sudden, all these women coming out of nowhere saying he did this to them, he did this to them. The Bill Cosby situation, they did that no different than the way they did Michael. All of a sudden, all these little kids' parents is coming out of nowhere, or these kids. Didn't they interview a bunch of kids?
They did, and it was a man. He's grown now. It's on TikTok. He was saying that his mom was trying to coerce him into saying that Michael Jackson did. He was like, "Mom, are you serious? I'm not going to do that."
I didn't believe any of it. And me and my mom aren't the best of friends, but I don't think I was much old enough to really say what was going on. But that's why I trust my intuition a lot more. When I saw that, all I did was shook my head. I was like, I couldn't believe it. Not one bit, not because he was Michael, but BS when you see it. And I was like, no, this is something else. I couldn't say what it was because I was still young. But when my mom saw it and she just shook her head, and I was like, and I'm listening to it and I'm hearing it, I'm like, no, something else is going on. I don't know what. But Michael was actually trying to pull back. They were having problems because he wanted to do the music that he really wanted to do, and he wasn't trying to portray that message. He had somebody working with him, so they were speaking for him. That was what they did to pull him back in.
His publishers.
And you remember another thing that makes me wonder if they were not lying about Michael. He did a lot of this with his hand, and he would always have it down towards his crotch. That's the sign that most people that are part of Illuminati put up. And I'm just like, I was like, well, maybe they're not lying.
It was more subliminal then. Now they just doing the shit everywhere. But when he was doing it was more subliminal because we wasn't even tripping off his hands. We just knew he was grabbing his crotch and his hands went like that. But that's devil working. Punching these fingers, that's sexual. It's disgusting. When you think about it. But he's a puppet.
Yeah, and it was sad, but you definitely know he had a message behind his music.
He did.
And it was not nothing negative. It was definitely encouraging. Heal the World definitely spoke a message, and I really wish, girl, if they played that for a whole year, I wouldn't have bet any amount of money. So many people admire him. I wouldn't have bet any amount of money people's mind would get so much better, but they gonna make sure that be maintained to be a thing of the past.
Yeah.
All his music had a really good message to it.
One thing that's popped out in his documentary to me was that, you know, when he was going through all that stuff and he was trying to get back to do his music after the Heal the World, you know, after the
Hmm.
album, and they tarnished his name, he went to Dr. Dre to see if Dr. Dre would work with him. Why Dr. Dre turned him down, girl?
Why?
I guess because he didn't want to mess up his image, and maybe because, you know, the affiliation with him during that time wasn't good.
Yeah,
Michael Jackson, you
right.
know, for your brother though.
Yeah. It was just really scary, even during the conversation he had the same night. It's really funny how they said, oh, he overdosed, but during the final conversation with somebody, you know, this he was basically letting them know. He's like, they can do a lot of things to me. They can shoot me, they can stab me, they can kill me, they can say I overdosed on drugs. He was like, I just don't know what to do. And then he was like, who are you talking about, Michael? Over the phone, he was just that scared. And he was just like, it's not the government. He said, it's above the government. It's above them. And he was just like, well, who are you talking about? Of course he can't say. He said he can't say much over the phone. But
They're
that's
not
weird.
the doggone Malcolm X.
Hmm. So nobody's going to be that scared for no reason. So it's definitely something going on. And it's not a conspiracy theory. It
Mark
is what it is.
Lawrence.
Who?
Martin Lawrence.
Oh,
Remember,
yeah.
was
Him.
outside with a gun, waving it.
I remember that too. And I was like, what is going on? He's not, these people aren't crazy. These people are experiencing things. And if the message in the industry is to do the devil's work, like these people are literally under attack by whoever they sign they life over to, who they sold to.
Well, we
It's,
all know P. Diddy is responsible for a lot because he's the producer of
hmm
Bad Boy. He's the main producer. He's like the only one claiming Bad Boy. So we
hmm
know who's the devil in that. And then Michael Jackson already burst out and said Clyde Davis. And Clyde Davis,
uh-huh.
he brought Whitney Houston, and they both are no longer here because what Whitney's vocals didn't work, so that made her better off dead or worth
Non-valuable.
most, you know, worth more money dead than alive. So Clyde Davis
Hmm.
was the person that he said,
Hmm.
and P Diddy, you know, he got his enemies because Mace on YouTube talking about him.
Mm-mm.
But Mace say, "Listen, I'm covered by the Most High, so he gonna tell the truth." So
Exactly. But yeah,
what? Go ahead.
it really sucks. Like you thinking you going into this thing and you just have so many people support and to go into it and just not really realize, or you thinking in your mind you're gonna be smarter than the other people. When I'm pretty sure after all this time, they probably done seen it all.
The smarter people are the ones who we got the one hit wonder, and we no longer here.
Hmm.
Hopefully, they invested their money.
Yeah, I don't blame them though. It's like you got to sell yourself, and like I said, when you hear stuff like this, and if that's the initiation that you have to go through, like you said, being into, they said it's either your butthole or you have to engage some sort of way sexually. And most men, that I don't think most men would like to be in that position. And they said a lot of it is blackmail. So if you're doing all that at these mention parties, and you say, "Oh no, I can't get with this," there's they tool to blackmail you, and then the whole world is gonna know. So once again, most men, they like I said, some men gonna take that to their grave. They not saying nothing, and they gonna do it because it's that manly pride.
Yeah.
women, I only hear the whole sexual assault thing with the movies. Going to the mansion parties and have to go through their initiation with the women, and it's more than one man. So it's like for them, you can't be that hungry. I don't care what your struggle has been. You cannot be that hungry to be financially secure, but they know that's what the world wants. Everybody wants financial security. And some people are willing to go as low as they want to go. But the women, like, they literally just got to go home and try to come back from that.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure the only thing you can do is take drugs to kind of get through it because you can deal with it.
They have showed a couple of females on YouTube who used to be in the industry who are strung out.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful.
Beautiful
women.
Mm-hmm. Been destroyed.
Like specimen. But they didn't just been tossed.
Yeah.
You gotta be careful about them tricks because everything that glitters ain't gold, baby.
Exactly.
Gold is not worth precious life.
It's really not. And that kind of thing changes.
You got that gold and you dead, baby. That gold is still here being passed on.
Mm-hmm. Being passed on, or somebody else got it and you reap no benefit.
Being fought over or whatever.
I feel bad to see how Whitney Houston got so bad. Like, to me, that was scary. I'm like, here's this woman with an amazing voice. These little girls today don't even come close. And to know she got so bad to the point.
Coco pretty good. Coco Jones is nice.
Who?
Coco Jones.
Who's that?
Oh, you're gonna have to Google her. You seen her name is Coco. I want to say her last name is Jones, but don't quote me because I'm not 100% sure. But you seen Bel Air, right?
I've seen who?
Bel Air.
The new one? No, not yet.
Well, she's playing Hillary.
Okay. I'll probably have to go look at it.
She got a song on the radio right now, so it's pretty good.
Well, you know I'm a research junkie, so I'll definitely probably get on it to kind of hear what I'm hearing. But to know she went from that to as thin as she got, it was just scary. Like the way she got so skinny to the point to where it don't even seem like rehab was helping. Like she got hoarse in the voice. Like you would never think it could do that to you.
And poor little baby girl was right. Our folks been all right there in that house with him.
Didn't she die? How her mom died? The other daughter? Yeah, that's how they were. At that time, that's when I was like, yeah, they want people to know more is going on. They want people to know. They're not hiding it no more. Anytime she died the exact same way her mother, people ain't crazy. They want people to know.
Ray J ain't saying nothing about Whitney Houston. He was supposed to been dating her a couple of months before she died.
I think I heard that accusation, yeah, but if it's true, then yeah.
War.
You know what? She did say that. It's been a while since I've seen that clip. But yeah, people talking about she crazy. Kanye is not crazy.
Of course.
She has a beautiful voice. I will say that. Jaguar, she has a beautiful voice. She comes close to a little bit like Angie Stone. But she has a really good voice. But she says she got out of it, and I don't blame her. But they say she's crazy. Huh?
She didn't have a choice.
Yeah, that too. Yeah. I'm sorry. Whitney Houston's situation really made me sad. I'm like, oh, and then it's like to hear her try to sing on stage. She was moving all slow. Like y'all put that much pressure on her to get her music out there to the point to where she was like a walking corpse. But you can tell she had to get on stage. You can tell they wanted her to clean herself up. But it don't look like they gave her time.
Like Tell Live Vision will only tell you so much.
Right.
Because the way they did her documentary on Tubi, baby, I'm sitting there like, why y'all got the spoon? Why y'all? Like, I'm mad at Bobby Brown because he's supposed to be this monster.
Mm-hmm.
His voice gone. He sound like a damn bird when he sang.
He was everything in the past.
Sound like a bird.
Girl, like what? But like I said, think about it. You know, when they celebrities, they barely see the money. They buy everything that they can. They give them a budget. They can buy whatever they want. But once again, to play the role. So a lot of times when I see celebrities wearing Balenciaga and all that, and all the jewels and stuff, like that's why I be laughing at Krishan and her boyfriend. That y'all are doing what they're allowing y'all to do. After I saw Krishan at that Diddy party, um, that's when they started wearing more jewelry. When I started seeing her wear more jewelry, but her body language changed. Like he giving her a hug and saying we got to do business. Um, her demeanor changed, but they start showing more. Oh, this is the house we live in. You know, y'all still poor because at the end of the day, you really ain't been initiated for real. But Diddy already see how they are. They're branding the toxic love. That's why I was like, no, I don't necessarily think they're together. I think that's business.
I think Zeus is the
Huh?
their work is something else.
It's definitely gaining something from it. They expose a lot of toxic nonsense, so they definitely
I don't say
are.
expose, I would say promote.
Yeah, there you go. Promote. That's the proper word. But yeah, those two. Honestly, I don't think Krishan's pregnant because where you go after those few days of ranting, and the last conversation she had online was getting rid of the baby.
After he's sitting up there dogging her and got another girl pregnant.
That's why I said I didn't feel sorry for Krishan because
He's
it's an
showing how
act.
much he don't care about her. Like how you go and just go like I ain't gonna even like I am not my other girl pregnant. I already got herself like nah I'm good. I ain't gonna even mess around with you. Like where's your?
It's hard to have some love for yourself when you're looking for it all over the place instead of finding it within yourself. I didn't feel sorry for her because he can already see she don't love herself. I could see that. I was like, the girl don't love herself because if you love yourself, you're not going to stay somewhere that you really don't want to be if your relationship is real. Yes, you're carrying him. Yes, you did give him a little bit more, exposure. That's fine because from what I heard, he wasn't really popping like that. But once
After
again,
his first song did good. Tatiana did. That's what put him on.
okay.
He said that Cardi B vagina smelled like fish. That was the last time I heard from him. Now he comes back on the scene, and now he got Krishan with him.
Mm-hmm. He did like a show or something, right? And
yeah, he had a show, but no one knew about the show that he had, so he had to be doing it on his own YouTube channel or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So Krishan somehow she popped up out of nowhere.
Yeah, it was like some sort of audition or something that he had going on, and it's like a whole bunch of girls. And he was like, she stood out to him the most, and she's beautiful. But it's like, I hate it when people say, oh, she's beautiful, she deserved better. She is. But once again, if you don't love yourself or care about yourself, your beauty can only get you so far. Like she's pretty, but she's disgusting as a female. Like who eats food and take it out your mouth and spit it out at a restaurant?
I don't think that's disgusting.
That is nasty.
I think that's typical. Like that's something that a kid would do. I think she's probably don't have any etiquettes. I don't think she's disgusting because if you don't like it, you're gonna spit it out. She just didn't spit it out properly.
She chewed her mouth open like a cow.
I appreciate the down to earthness. Like she don't give a F word.
Right.
But she do need some etiquette classes.
She needs that, but she definitely needs to get away from him. But I'm sure y'all noticed she came. That situation just got toxic by the minute. And after she left Diddy party, that's when they got the TV show. What is it? Crazy in Love. That's when they got the TV show. After she left Diddy's party. But like I said, her demeanor and everything changed. Mm. Like she almost like she uncomfortable. So it's just kind of one of them things. Shit,
I would be too if you with a nigga who don't give a fuck about you, and he's showing it on the internet, and then he try to put his hands on you, know how to fight. So I be loving the fact that she just spinning around.
She defend herself.
She fucking the nigga up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm with that.
But I'm with
in
Chris.
abusive relationships and being a submissive or a green girl,
Mm-hmm.
knowing I could whoop him, however, didn't want to hurt. So I'm glad she don't mind busting his head with a piece of bottle.
Because I sure would too. You did what? But she is
But
disrespectful. I
that's
don't
if
care
he
how
put his
famous you
hands
are.
on me.
She's
If he
very
called me a B
disrespectful.
word, because I'm calling him B words and we just throwing. I ain't finna hit you with no bottle. If it's gonna take more for me to. You gonna have to do something physical, and then if I'm like you snatch my cup, I'm lit. I'm a smack.
Mhm.
I'm a slap you.
Right. But I will say, she is like she acts like she's already a millionaire to the point to where she's just blatantly disrespectful. It ain't even just to him; it's to anybody that's talking to her. Like that's what makes her ugly to me: the lack of humility. You'll talk about God, but at the same time, your character's everything but. And like I said, it's good she's a spiritual person, but I'll be glad when she can apply it to herself. But if you've already signed over your soul as well, and you're continuing to entertain Blueface, even though you know you're not happy, it's business. It's not a relationship. It's literally just business.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the part that makes her ugly, the lack of humility. There's nothing humble about Krishan.
Hmm.
You can't talk to everybody like you're the government.
That
Like you're
reminds
the
me
man.
of Baddie West.
What's that?
The Bad Girls Club, Baddies West on Zeus Network.
Oh, I thought you said something else. Never mind.
Because that reminds me of Stunner Girl. Like, you can't get her constructive criticism without her snatching your hair out. So,
That's why we already. Well, I don't hear you say it too often, but I say it all the time. I don't like these little millennials. I mean, I don't like these little young 20-year-olds. Their attitude is off the chain, and it's like you can't tell them shit because they take it as you trying to be their mom, or it's not about being your mom. It's about just giving you a little bit of guidance. Why do you have to make everything so confrontational? That's like me and you saying, girl, I like what you got on. I mean, you look cute. If you want to present yourself like a lady, she would take that as you trying to be her mom, even though you could be literally just giving her, advice.
mm-hmm.
Like you don't have to fight everybody every time they say something, but she's very confrontational.
But
And that's
I understand that. If you're dealing with so many people, I wouldn't want to be soft. I would want to let people know that I'm not the motherfucker to fuck with. So I
right.
appreciate her attitude. Because you have to have a guard up being a woman. We are
All women
vulnerable.
don't have a guard up like that.
We are vulnerable with these vaginas. So
You got- that's
I don't
the
mind
truth.
that. The female, I love it.
Yeah, all of them got their guard up, but hers is just it's not just her. It's all these little young girls. It's not just her. This just something they like. This a lot of them are quitting their jobs. They feel like you can't tell them what to do. You're not gonna run me ragged, which you should be. But you can't say I want money. I need to give me some money, but then get mad when you're being told what to do at a job. You're not a manager. But if somebody's telling you, some of these managers do be out of line. Don't get me wrong, they do. But these millennials are very rude and nasty for no reason. Everybody's not out to attack you.
Mm-hmm. That's true. But you got to be careful with these wolves in sheep clothing. However,
That's true.
but we are going on
Oh,
59 minutes, and we're going a little over here on this session. But
overtime, yes.
we can always come back to a part two if it's necessary.
Right. So next week, no, 2 weeks from now, 2 weeks, we will be going over. I don't know how graphic this can be, but I want to discuss the things that are going on within these schools. Certain topics that should not be discussed in schools. I think it's completely up to the parent if they want to talk to their kids about it. But I think it's the corruption that's being spoken in schools because that's something that affects our families. And we definitely want to stick to that subject of anything that affects our families and
And
this
that's a good
topic as
topic
well.
because we're currently dealing with that in our legal system now, to where they're trying to give the parents more control over their kids' education. So that's
Mhm.
a very good topic for next session, for the next episode. So tune in to the Corner of Queens with your girl Nubian Scripts and the sweet Miss Tina Marie with the holla at you.
All right. Have a nice day. Thank you. Bye.